1 second.
Oh,
Let me
is
swallow.
it full of cake?
No, I didn't want to.
Oh, we already started.
Okay.
I
I did not want to put my cake on the ground while it was still there. So
So where did it have to go?
my mouth,
Of course.
obviously, the only place where cake is supposed to go.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're nasty, but it's
That is a different website.
Oh boy, let's talk about Bambi.
all right.
The
Miss
Bambi,
Bambi.
the redemption,
Reckoning.
the reckoning. Bambi, the reckoning. So Bambi, the reckoning is, and they in the email said it was a part of the Poohniverse.
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 Yes.
Winnie the Pooh-niverse.
Oh my!
Yeah.
And that by itself is problematic.
It's a
It's just not fun to say, or maybe it's a little too fun to say, and we shouldn't say it.
I think that's probably it.
But when I looked them up, online it's the Twisted Child universe.
Oh, like Christopher Robin?
Well, Christopher Robin, Peter Pan, Pinocchio
Sure.
is coming up. So they're like basically taking children's literature and twisting them
Gotcha.
into horror.
Understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are the people who brought us Blood and Honey, which was the Winnie the Pooh horror movie, which the only thing I can say positive about it was it was made. That's and all respect to that notion, to the
I
fact
told
that
Chris before this he needs to behave.
well, and for that reason, it's one of those things where you have to respect the hustle. You have to respect the fact that they got on it the moment that
They sure did.
the public domain opened up, and they shot it, and it is a very skewed vision and an attempt to cash in on how ridiculous it is to turn Winnie the Pooh into a slasher.
Yeah.
And but it is also one of those things where it's like you wish they had leaned into what makes that strange.
Yeah.
Right.
Not just putting it out there. And I think Bambi suffers from the same exact problem,
Ailment,
which
yeah.
is they just count on the fact that it's so ridiculous that Bambi is killing people that they don't really bother to flesh out a story, to give characters any dynamics, to do anything other than have, I would say, a handful of really impressive kills, and then a lot of questions that get asked but never answered.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. Basically, we were hit up by the PR team of Bambi the Reckoning, and they asked us to make content on it. And it wasn't like, say how much you love it. Obviously, they want us to do that.
They said
but
they want our honest review.
Yeah.
And they made a
It
mistake
seems
on
It's like
that.
a mistake.
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Well, no, and it's not. There's no such thing as bad press is the kind of notion that you come to, because
we're talking about it.
if people are trashing it, it's still putting in front of people. And we have lots of fans. We have lots of people who are interested in our opinions. And they may want to just check it out to see whether or not we are right.
Yeah,
whether or
that's
not,
were we right?
A series of events is not a story.
I agree with that.
And that becomes the heart of what was so hard about watching this movie was we were left out of the loop so many times in this movie. They kept introducing things that we thought would pay off. They did not.
There were no closures. And
There's no closures. Lots of open doors, none of them closed.
well, and so here's the thing. If you are going to watch it, completely take the lore of Bambi and put it away.
Yeah.
Because this is its own entity.
Yes.
In that way. As somebody who is a major Disney child, I lived at Disney half the year practically. I owned every Disney movie known to man. So I went into this really hoping that there was going to be this continuation of the ending of Bambi. Because we do see at the end of the original film, Bambi's all grown up and he's this big, hunky little buck of sorts. And he had all the reasonings there to want to murder humanity.
Sure.
Because they took his mother away from him.
Yep.
And so...
And he was still under threat
yeah.
of that same dynamic. The hunters never stopped. So even with that alone as your story, just giant spirit of the forest railing against hunters, You don't need more plot than that. Unfortunately, they try to cram a lot of plot into it.
Right.
They sure did.
And a lot of that plot was never served. So, the classic issue for me of any story is that I desire an aesthetic ending. That doesn't mean a happy ending. That doesn't mean a by rote ending. It means a complementary to the rest of the piece. It has to somehow reflect the journey that you took while watching it. That's important to me in any movie. And there are plenty of movies that people think are the greatest movies in the world that I find aesthetically displeasing because at the final hour, they didn't land correctly. But in this case, they took off 25 times and didn't land at all. There were so many times when it was like, oh, well, this is going to happen. Oh, well, this is going to happen. Well, this is going to happen. To the point at which you could call the cliches as you're watching it. You could say, this is what's going to happen next. Yeah. That's what's going to happen next. This is what's going to happen next. And not really care whether or not it was happening.
Speaking of not caring, my biggest issue. So I wanted to highlight what I liked the most about it, and that was the gore.
Yeah. The gore was great.
Great gore. If you want to watch a movie for just straight up violence and gore, you should watch Bambi the Reckoning. What I did not like about it is that I didn't care about a single character. No. That was it. I they
didn't give us any time to. They didn't give us any
exactly.
And that's just it. There was no story, and there were components of stories, but they're all kind of the cheapest components. Neglectful father component, seemingly autistic child component, bully kid component, overworked mother component. That never paid off. There was never any things. How many times did we see that damn iPad and it never paid off? There was nothing about that iPad, but man, did we pay attention to every time it was picked up and put down and dragged around, and he went back for it and he carried it through the forest and carried it through the woods. I don't even know what happened to the iPad at some point, but for a long time we were like, oh, there's going to be something on that iPad.
I thought I might have to put spoiler alert, but it doesn't spoil anything.
No,
it doesn't. No, you can't spoil this movie. You can't. There was a woman who had a psychic connection to Bambi for no reason whatsoever, with no payoff.
Maybe she represented his mom.
No,
nope.
No.
I'm trying, y'all.
No, listen. Okay, so here's the thing. They made this big point to have Mary, this senile old lady, be drawing these horrific images of Bambi and like charcoal.
And having preternatural knowledge. They're here.
Yes.
And knowing things, which suggests if you're going to put a character who seems to know what's going to happen in the story, then they need to inform people what's going to happen.
She just stayed quiet.
She was so
and wondered.
And she let people just die. Left her own son just murdered wholesale. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Maybe she didn't like her family.
Also, if I, as just a normal human being out in the world, saw a 12-foot mutant rotting deer bellowing and killing a man, I would never shut up about it.
Yeah.
Chris said this the whole film.
Stop talking about it. There would be no time at which I was not saying, did you see that deer? Did you remember that deer? Did you see the deer that just 20 minutes ago ripped a person apart? Did you see the deer? By the way, deer. Every time something happened in this movie, they'd react to the moment and then they would forget it the next moment. They actually saw someone like ripped in half right in front of them by a giant mutant deer. And then they had no discernible reaction after that. There was nothing that changed about their character. They didn't go into shock. They're literally like, I wonder who that was.
Literally.
It just seemed so distant to anything. So whenever anything happened, the recovery, these were the most resilient human beings on earth.
It's so true.
Literally. Maybe this is what they wanted, for us to be passionate, like The Room. Almost, where it's like, why is this happening?
Yep.
Because he is right. I mean, Chris literally said the entire film, he's like, why is nobody talking about the deer? They're just like, oh my God, we got to get out of here in this RV that happens to be here.
Right.
And then we head to a
lab.
Like,
you would think that there would be a reason for it to be an RV and not just a truck or a van or a car, because it wasn't like they had too many people for a car. It wasn't like they couldn't fit everyone in a 4-door sedan.
Right.
It wasn't like they needed them to be in an RV, and the RV itself didn't serve some purpose, like it had lots of explosives in it,
Yeah.
Right.
like it was loaded down with some special equipment, like there was some, deer hunting pheromone thing in the RV. It was just an RV. And then, it was a short-lived RV ride, so that didn't even count. There were so many things that they did that didn't make sense, but they brought us to the kills that were
Yeah, it did.
decent.
They were decent.
And I will also say there were some really well done shots, well done camera moves.
Yeah.
There was
Yes.
this really cool camera move where the main character was coming down the stairs and the camera was following her, but the way that it followed her was like it was almost like it was on a crane or drone, because it stayed at a certain level moving backwards while she was going down the stairs, and you're like, that was a really cool shot. I like that shot. And they did that several times where they were moving the camera really well, where they're framing it really well, where it looked really good. And it was one of those things that you're like, well, if you just spent as much time thinking about the story as you did about these shots, it might have been a more cohesive piece.
Sure. Or just really leaned into the camp.
Lean into the camp, one or the
Yes.
other.
Right. Because it felt like it was an in-between
Right.
of they wanted to be taken seriously, like a true horror film that has depth.
Right.
But they have these ridiculous things. Like, I'm not going to tell you what it was, but Thumper's kill was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
One of the better things in the movie.
It
on
was-
top of
it was
that,
the best kill.
It was because it was also cleverly shot.
Yeah.
It was cleverly
and
shot,
it was
yeah.
like, okay, that's great. Everything that led up to it was kind of stupid. I mean, like absurd. There was even like a moment that was like a throwback to the Velociraptor trying to open the door in Jurassic Park, which was hilarious. Except
yeah.
it didn't feed the momentum of the story.
Yeah.
We had already kind of established that this creature behaves in a certain way, so it was odd and strange. It was out of place.
If they went a little more Evil Dead with it.
Yes.
Yes.
If
that
they
type
could
of
have
camp.
easily gone over the top, because you can't negotiate with the audience on story. You either have it or you don't. And it's okay not to. You can literally say, no thanks, no story. But instead what we got was like so many pieces of stories and none of them stuck together.
So that's our take on it. Honestly, if you want to see it, go see it and see
Well,
if we're wrong. Maybe you will
and
enjoy it.
And it works in a checklist pattern. If you're watching the Poohniverse movies and you just need them checked off. If you
name
watch the
kills
Winnie
me.
the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, the Tigger movie, there's a Neverland, Peter Pan's Neverland, which is like a slasher movie, and then there's Bambi, and upcoming is Pinocchio.
Yeah.
So if it's really just a matter of you're a completist, go to. And it's almost worth it in that cult fashion of saying, I watched all these movies.
Yeah.
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 Wear it
Yeah.
as a badge of honor.
Where it has a badge of honor.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Again,
And don't watch it alone.
no.
Bring your friends.
Laugh.
Do your best to make fun of it.
Have a bingo card.
And we're funny
It's-
people. But we got to a point where we just couldn't make fun of it anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, so that's our take on it. And like we said, go watch it, make a bingo card of just everything ridiculous you could think of that could happen in a Bambi horror movie.
Yeah, and
see
That's
what
a
happens.
drinking game. You could create
Yes,
a drinking game.
Exactly.
And I like to say, as a final remark, that our criticism of this film it's negative, but I do like being sent movies by PR teams, and we won't be this negative as long as it's not bad.
yeah.
Right. But we'll be
honestly,
honest.
send us Pinocchio.
kinda wanna say that.
Send us Pinocchio. We will give it our best try because listen, Peter Pan's trailer looked great.
Peter Pan's trailer actually does look
Yeah.
good.
Pear junkies are talking shit about it right now.
About
Oh,
Peter
did they
Pan.
watch it?
Pan, yeah.
Yeah, because the trailer is actually pretty good. I have not seen the Peter Pan's Neverland
Yeah.
yet.
Well,
Yeah, there's a
send us
bunch of it.
Pinocchio, Poohniverse. we're here for
They're
it.
not sending us anything.
That's fair. But, this may launch us into critical reviews of horror because horror is, in fact, very hand in hand with how people relate to paranormal. It is about testing your ability to be afraid and to function through fear.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, if we were sent, Insidious in 2007, it'd be a different episode.
We would be
Literally.
over the
like,
moon.
Great.
yes, absolutely. But that's our take, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to this review. And stay poony.
Oh, no. What?
Not stay poony, bro. Ew. Jesus, guys.